without much hope for anything so extravagant as attending the University of Central Arkansas in nearby Conway. Still, Lorden repeated his intentions often, claiming that they would one day make some real money in the factories up north and send their children to college. Just over a year after Jessica's birth, as winter set into Central Arkansas, Lorden announced to his wife that Bill Hope had agreed to let him take the truck up to Chicago for an extended visit with relatives who'd left Arkansas several years earlier, hoping to work in the factories. The Prices packed their belongings in 2 large suitcases, bid their neighbors farewell, and headed down the dusty road. The Dodge pickup returned nearly 5 weeks later, laden with gifts from the north. Jose Menendez, who lived with his wife Estella in a second trailer near the Prices, remembers the day clearly. You got to understand that them Prices was a frugal bunch. They didn't spend money on much, unless it was for the kids. The smiles on their faces when they came back with that haul had us all thinking about going up north to work in the factories. A perfectly good washing machine, 2 new suitcases full of clothes, mostly for little Alex and Jessica. But the chainsaw was Lorden's prize. He cut enough firewood that first week to last both them and the neighbors 2 winters, Jose recalled. The first 4 years of Alex Price's life can only be reconstructed from the memories of people like the Menendezes and the Hopes. Hearing it all, one has to wonder what would have become of Alex had his parents been allowed to continue their slow but deliberate gain on a happy life. Would they have moved to Chicago and sent the children to a public school while they saved up the money for a secondary education? Would Alex have grown up on the farm, then finally opened the shop his father only dreamed of? The night of January 15th, 1968, was warm by Arkansas standards. A balmy 51 degrees according to the Weather Service records. Heavy, dark clouds hung over most of Faulkner County. Betty tucked Alex, then 4, and Jessica, who was 3, in their twin beds in the back bedroom, sang them a soft song as she did every night, said their prayers, and turned off the lights. Jose Menendez recalled that the Price's mobile home, which stood only 50 yards from their own, was already dark when he went out for wood at 8:30. The crickets sang in the nearby forest. Otherwise, the night was quiet. At approximately 1:45 a.m., Lorden was awakened by a creaking noise, a fairly common sound in the Price house, which was set on an unstable foundation and easily shaken by wind. Only when it occurred to him that there was no howling wind did Lorden open his eyes and listen more carefully. It was the absence of wind that awakened him, he later told the police. The screen door squealed in the dark, and Lorden sat upright. A faint, muffled cry reached his ears. Now panicked, Lorden threw off the blanket and ran into the tiny living room. He saw that the front door was open, but his mind was on the children's bedroom. Barging through the doorway, he saw a sight that would haunt him for years to come. 2 empty beds. I couldn't think. I just couldn't think, he later recalled. He stood frozen in the doorway, staring at the empty white sheets for a few long seconds before crying out and sprinting out of the house. A Ford pickup truck was parked on the gravel driveway. The driver's door slammed, and for a moment Lorden saw the shapes inside. An adult wearing a cowboy hat sat in the driver's seat, and another with long hair was shoving Alex and Jessica into the truck from the passenger side. Freed from the hands that had muzzled them, both children began to cry. Lorden ran toward the truck, but was only halfway across the lawn when it rumbled to life and jerked forward, spewing gravel. Now, in a mindless panic, Lorden ran for the Chevy, started the engine, and took off after the disappearing pickup. Betty ran from the house, screaming his name. He had the presence of mind to shove open the passenger door and call out for her to report the kidnapping to the county sheriff. She would have to call from the main ranch house. Lorden had a difficult time remembering what happened next. I couldn't think, he repeated later. I just couldn't figure it. I couldn't think. In an understandable state of anxiety, the father raced down.